Hello everyone, this is Surya and welcome to Be a Geek. In today's video, we are going to solve a problem from HackerRank Java Substring Comparison, and it is very interesting problem from HackerRank. And in coding interview rounds, these are the problems which like companies can ask, but they are the very basic problems. So let's see what we have to do in this problem. So here we're gonna have a string and an integer, and on basis of that we have to find out the minimum and the maximum substring in lexicographically order of size which they has provided as an integer. So basically first we're gonna have a string s, and then we're gonna have an integer k as an integer. And if you see over there, we have welcome to Java and we have 3. Now we have to find out the minimum and the maximum substring from welcome to Java of the length 3. Now if you see our output, we have minimum as AVA and maximum has WAL, and we have to use lexicographically ordering here. And according to lexicographically order, our z, small z, is the maximum and our capital A is the lowest. So basically if you see over there, W is the biggest letter in our substring, so we got WEL as the maximum, and here we do not have any capital, and the smallest which we have as A, so AVA is our smallest substring. And if you see this is the order in which we are getting our substring. So AVA is the smallest, and if you see this, A, C, E, E, J, L, M, O, O, T, W, so they are the first letters which is like in the increasing order. And if you see this, we have to follow this. And now in this problem we have to use two functions. First is compareTo function and second is substring function. Now let's see how we can do that, and let's try to understand this problem more clearly. Okay, now let's take a smaller example. Let's say I have Be a Geek, and here I want to find out the smallest substring of length 3. So my integer is 3. Now from there I can have multiple substrings. First one is BEA, second one is EAG, third one is AGE, and after that I have GEE and EEK. So these will be my substrings. Now if you see these substrings, here my A is the smallest and G is the largest, means a string which start from A will be my smallest and a string which start from G will be my largest. Why? Because if I compare these BEA, EAG with AGE, in my lexicographical order, A will come first, then B and E. If you see this, A is smaller than B, so AGE will be my smallest substring, and after that I have B, so BEA will be my larger than AEG, AGE, and after that if you see this, I have two substring which start from E. Now I have to sort them. So if you see this, E, both substrings start from E, so we cannot decide lexicographically which string come first. Now I have to see my A. Here I have A, here I have E, so A come before E, so I will write like this, and after that I will have EEK. This will lexicographically smaller than EEK, and at last I will have GEE. So G is the largest, so that's why I gonna have GEE as my largest substring. So AGE is smallest and GEE is the largest. Now let's see how we can get these value using our code. So basically what we have to do, we're gonna use two methods. First is substring and second one is compareTo method. Substring method will get out our substring from our string. In our last video, we already seen how substring work. Now let's see how compareTo work. Let's say I have two string s1 dot compareTo s2. Now if this method give us a positive number, means s1 is larger than s2, or I can just write like this: s1 is larger than s2 if positive. In case value is negative, means s1 is smaller than s2. In another case, if value is 0, then my s1 is equals to s2. Now if I apply compareTo method on my substring, this one and this one, in that case, let's say this is my s1 and this is my s2, and if I do this, compareTo, if I do this, then I will gonna have a negative number because this is smaller than this. That's how my compareTo method work. And now let's see the implementation, how we can implement this. Let's say I have string as be a geek. If I want to extract and number is 3. Now if I want to extract this from my string, then what I have to do? My starting index will be 0 and my end index will be 3. So I will get BEA as my substring. So I have to use substr with 0 and 3. Let's say 3 is my k. So I have to use 0 and k. So I will get BEA as my substring. Now if I want to extract EAG from my substring, then what I have to do? I have to use substr this 0, I will change it to 1, and I have to use k plus 1, and I will gonna have EAG. Now again, if I want to extract AGE from this substring, then what I have to do? I have to use substring 2 comma k plus 2. So if you see the pattern, here I have a loop like pattern. So I will use a loop and I will iterate over this. And if I convert this into a loop, which I already tell how you can convert a logic into loop. So according to this, what I am doing? I am doing k plus 0. So let's say I have an integer I which is initialized to 0, and I have an integer j which is initialized to k. So using that, what I can do? I can write it like this. In my first iteration, I have I comma j, and in my next iteration, what I have? I plus 1, j plus 1, and in my next iteration, I will have I plus 2 and j plus 2. So that's how my loop will work. And now let's see another case. Let me remove this. I think that will be my last case. I already have AGE. Now I want to extract this, and before that I will extract this from my substring. So here what I have to do? I have to use substr as 3 comma k plus 3, and I will get GEE, and after that substr 4 comma k plus 4, and I will get EEK. So that's how my loop will work. Now if I convert this into this, I gonna have I plus 3 and j plus 3 and I plus 3, I plus 4 and j plus 4. If you see this, my j plus 4, j is k, so my j plus 4 will be j plus 4 will be like 4 3 4 7, so this will be 7, and in my main string I have 7 character, and if I use length method I gonna have 7. So I have to use this looping till my value reach 7. So if my value reach 7, I have to terminate this, because after that I cannot have a substring with length 3. So we're gonna use this logic to implement our loop. Now let's go to our question. So this is our question, and let me just write into my code editor. So this is our code editor, and first we have to take input for a string. Before that I have to create a scanner, new scanner system dot in. Then I will take an input for a string s is equals to sc dot next, and after that I will take input for an integer, let's say that is k, and I will use sc dot next int for an integer. Now what I have to do, I will use two integer I and j for my loop. Now let's create a loop where I have I and j, int I is equals to 0 and j is equals to k, and my loop will go till j is less than is equals to s dot length, and I will increase the value of I and j, and here I will write my logic. So basically why the value of j is less than is equals to s dot length, which I already explained here, I have to take this value till 7 so that I can extract the last substring from my string. Now I want to compare these values. Let me clean this so that we can understand. Okay, now here I have to find out smallest and largest. So in these type of questions, first we have to initialize these values, smallest and the largest, so that when we compare these values I can store my smallest and the largest value inside this. So I will assume that BEA is my smallest and my largest substring. So I will initialize my smallest and largest as BEA. Now to find out what is my smallest, I will compare this with this, BEA with EAG. Now between these two values, my BEA is the smallest one, so my smallest will be remain as BEA, and I will compare them for largest, and between both of them my largest is EAG, so I will replace my largest with EAG. Now I will compare these values with AGE, and between these values my smallest is AGE, so I will replace my smallest as AGE, and between both my largest is EAG, so EAG will remain as EAG, and after that I will compare my age and EAG with GEE, and between both AG is the smallest, so my smallest will remain as AGE, and after that I will compare for largest, and here GEE is the largest one, so I will replace EAG with GEE, and after that I will compare AGE with EEK and GEE with EEK. So between both of them my AG is the smallest, so AGE will remain as smallest, and between both of them my GEE is the largest one, so my largest will become GEE and my smallest will become AGE. So these are the final values which I got. So what I have to do here, I will initialize my largest and smallest as these, and I will start my loop from there. So my loop will start from index 1 and go till k. So to extract this from my substring, I have to create these two strings and I will initialize them with my substring. So let's say this is my string smallest and I will use as s.substring 0, k, and another string will be largest and I will make it like this, s.substring same 0, k. So that will be my substring. Now in my loop, what I have to do? I have to compare this with my substring. Let's say I create a string as temp. This is my temporary string, and here I will use s.substring, and my starting index is I and my end index is j, and I will compare this temp with my smallest and largest. Actually this temp is this substring which I am getting temporarily to get out what is my smallest and the largest. Now let's build the logic for smallest. Let's say for smallest I will use compareTo method with temp. Now from there, if the value is negative less than 0, then my smallest substring is the smallest one between temp and smallest. So I will reinitialize the value to smallest as the smallest, and after that, in case if the value is greater than 0, means the smallest one is greater than my temp. So I will, in that case, my temp will be the smallest between smallest and temp. So I will initialize my smallest with temp, and for largest dot compareTo with temp. Now if the value is greater than 0, I will initialize my largest with largest, and in another case if the value is less than 0, means my largest is smaller than temp and my temp is greater than largest, means I have to put the value of the temp into my largest. So that's why I did this, and at last what I have to do? I have to print both values, smallest, and after that I have to print largest. And if I run this code and I put as be a geek here and substring is 3, I will get AGE as my smallest and GEE as my largest. And according to the question, if I put welcome to Java to check whether our code is correct or not, AVA and WEL, and in my console also I am getting AVA WEL. So this is our final code. Let's take a screenshot of this. Let me put it here. Let me dry run this code for you, so to see how these things are working. So initially my value of smallest and largest is as BEA, so we already know that. Then after that we start our loop. My I is on 0, j is on 3, and I am getting my substring inside this temp. And if I put these values inside this, so I am again getting BEA as my substring. Now I will compare this. Here I am comparing BEA with BEA, which is an invalid scenario. We do not need to compare this, but just let's say we compared it, and from there if both values are equal, means BEA is equals to BEA, so I am getting 0 from there. If I am getting 0 from there, then this temp value will go inside smallest, and for largest this temp value again gonna as BEA. Now my value of I and j will increase by 1. Now inside my largest and smallest I have BEA, and again my value of I and j is increased, so my I is 1 and j is 3 plus 1 is 4. Now I am getting this as my substring EAG. Now I will compare BEA with AEG dot compareTo with EAG dot compareTo with EAG. And if this value is less than 0 or another value is greater than 0, in that case what will happen? If here my BEA is less than AEG, means from there I gonna get a negative number. So according to this, if this is true, I will initialize my smallest inside this smallest. So BEA will be final value inside my smallest, and after that if you compare this, EAG is greater than BEA, means from there I gonna get a negative number. If I am getting a negative number from there, I will initialize this inside this, because let's say I am getting -1 from there and -1 is greater than 0, this which is wrong, so I gonna get this. So my temp is EAG, so my largest will be EAG, and after that, which I explained you earlier, that will work. And if you want to know how these things work, you can iterate this as I told you how these things are working. Increase the value of I and j one by one, and you are good to go with your solution. Let me just copy this so that we cannot waste so much time into this question, and run this code. Now let's submit this code, and all test cases are successfully passed. For better understanding, I will recommend you to dry run this code so that you can easily understand this. Now if you want to copy this code, there is a link in the description box. From there you can directly go to our website, and from there you can just copy this code and paste it into your code editor. Okay, and this is your final code, and if you submit this, your test case is gonna successfully passed. And if you understand this, how these things are working, give a like to this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any doubt, you can comment down below, and you can directly reach out to me on my Instagram, as I am very active on that. Now I think that's it for this video. Let's meet into the next video where we're gonna learn more about strings. Till then, take care, thank you, and bye.